S Adyanthaya.
Wow, that was something. Great to be here in Istanbul. Thank you for attending. As we all know, the airline industry is going through a major transformational moment right now, where we're going away from pricing seats to creating offers and doing it at scale. So what I'm here to do is to speak to you about 5 of the important things we have identified from working with our 200 plus clients around the world. And these are really transformational items that we think will make a huge difference in the competitive landscape in the airline world. Traditionally, airlines always believed that network, product, and price were all that were important. And yes, it is true, network, product, and price are still important, but it's not sufficient to guarantee long-term growth and success in the airline industry. Being a retailer and really driving customer experience and customer loyalty is the future, we believe, from everything we've seen from the data and our customers. So here are 5 things. Let's first start with retailing. What does that mean? I mean, traditionally, airlines have been in the business of selling seats. But if you think about it, the first thing over 95% of people who travel do is to purchase their airline ticket, their flight. Then they purchase their hotel, their rental car, their experience. So airlines are truly the first to wallet of the traveler. And the smartest, most savvy airlines have realized this and have identified this as an opportunity to grow their percentage of wallet share of the traveler. So selling seats moves to retailing experiences, creating a package, a bundle of things that that traveler would be interested in his or her journey, and presenting this in a very consumable, transparent, transactable way. So that's item 1 that we've identified. The move to dynamic offers. As we all know, we've been hamstrung by legacy technology, and we've heard a lot about it here with modern airline retailing. The 30 plus, 40 plus year PSS legacy technology and all of the infrastructure around it have forced airlines for many years to sell seats in a very static way with a number of prices limited to the letters in the alphabet. And of course, we know that that's not how the world works. Now the moment has come where it's actually possible to break free of the shackles of traditional static fares and to move not only to dynamic pricing, but to dynamic offers. And that means creating a bundle of things, which could be your fare families, but in a much more dynamic way of what's included in them and how you differentiate by prices among the bundles. So dynamic bundles created in real time, personalized for the customer and the channel. Now what's special about this moment is it's a coming together of a need for an industry like the travel industry and the technology. With cloud compute coming of age, with modern scalable AI, which is really good at this sort of stuff, being prevalent, we can bring this technology together to solve this very important shift for the airline industry. Third shift is contextual offers. And personally, we believe this is incredibly important. Historically, we in the airline industry have created mass offers. Maybe there'd be some level of segmentation based on what we've perceived as the customer's needs and wants, but very little. We're moving to very contextual offers today. This is where you take the DNA of the product you're offering, the consumer, and the context of that buying opportunity, and you bring it together in real time to uniquely look at that request and create a tailored offer that will not only increase conversion to a buyer, but also increase customer satisfaction. So this might sound very sci-fi, but this stuff is actually in production today. Currently, we create over 4.3 trillion priced offers in a year, more than triple the volume of MasterCard and Visa combined. So the airline data problem, the scale is massive, but it's very solvable today with the convergence of new technology. So know your products, Know your prices and what people have paid historically. Consider your distribution channels, and think about how you can promote specifically based on all these characteristics of the individual who's coming to purchase. And do it at scale. The fourth item that we think is extremely important is agility. And what do we mean by agility? That's the ability to take real-time signals when a request comes in to create an offer. That is sensing various types of real-time data and using that to contextualize what you're doing and decide what product to offer, at what price, what bundle for that consumer, for that channel, for that moment. And you'd be surprised. Our experience with doing request-specific pricing, which is adding a neural network layer that actually takes real-time signals and then takes the offer and slightly modifies it, has been very eye-opening to us and some of our clients. It can make a substantial difference in the conversion rate as well as the price and margin of the conversion of the consumer. So we believe that this is really the next level, the most advanced form of offer optimization that has been out there and published in the world. So we think it's very important. Trust. And this is incredibly important because we have a new generation of consumers in the airline world. The Gen Z buyer, who's now a predominant buyer of air traffic, of tickets, has an entirely different set of expectations than their older siblings or their parents, or so on and so forth. They expect very fast response, millisecond response, or even maybe a second or two. And very importantly, they expect transparency. They expect consistency, and they expect customer centricity. So what does this mean? And this became incredibly important during COVID as well, where the customer really needed to know what they were buying, what would happen if they couldn't, some situation changed and they couldn't enter a country, and how that they could change things. And that really spurred our industry to build a whole new technology stack to provide the transparency that the consumer needed. Incredibly important and incredibly valuable going forward, because the Gen Z buyer expects this from any company that they're doing commercial business with. They expect a full, transparent retailing experience as they would with any of the leading e-retailers. Now, consistency is incredibly important because if we have discovered that if a buyer has even a seed of doubt that they will be treated fairly or they are being consistently offered a product, that really disrupts the buying experience and pushes them away. So the consistency of the offer and knowing how you've created the offer, how you've presented it, and being consistent to that as an ethos, we believe is extremely important in the whole process of offer creation. And finally, customer centricity. Very often in the airline industry, we've discovered that we tend to talk about our products and our prices. But with the evolution of technology, it's really becoming a lot more about putting the customer at the heart of all of these other capabilities that we have. Whether it's the creating of a bundle, whether it's deciding how to price the independent a la carte elements of a bundle, put them together, discount it, all of that comes at the heart of it has customer centricity. Now what's interesting is there was a lot of concern when airlines moved towards customer centricity that the buyer would react negatively, that knowing who I am might make the buyer uncomfortable, but it's actually been the opposite. We've discovered that with most of our customers, the buyer expects customer centricity based on their other modern e-retailing experiences. And they feel like when they have an offer that's not relevant or obviously not to their taste, that this is not a company that really fits the kind of company they want to work with. And I've had this happen, we've discussed it amongst ourselves, like I've never bought 1 mile of frequent flyer mile. But the first thing I would get when I would go to a app of an airline that we use is they would try to sell me miles. Now, of course, my first reaction is they don't know me, they don't care for what my wants and needs are. Why do I have to see this every time? So just knowing your customer, knowing what you've offered before, what they have transacted on, what they have not transacted on, and using that to create much more contextual, relatable offers increases stickiness of the customer, increases customer loyalty, and overall increases the lifetime value of the customer. The final thing I have is really to talk about certain core principles of technology that we feel are often not spoken about enough. Number one, modularity. It's incredibly important to embrace modular software, open APIs, and having composable software. Why is that? As we know, the rate at which technology is evolving is spectacular. What is the best of breed today might be very different 9 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. And we're finding our airline customers very eager to recognize that and want to have that optionality of embracing the greatest, latest of any technology that's out there. So modularity, we believe, is table stakes and incredibly important. But there are two types of modularity. First of all, there's the technical modularity where APIs and so on and so forth, so that components and products can work together. But the other part that's very important for every airline to consider is financial modularity. That is, when you have a contract with your vendor, are you able to swap out components or modules without being penalized or double charged for that component? Think about it. Will this really allow you to be a modular company that can choose best of breed? So that's something we urge you to think about and challenge yourself about. Next is ethical AI, which is very important by every element of an AI company. That is AI that creates fairness. There's a lot of scrutiny today from the European Union as well as the US government that is AI creating fair offers? That is priced, is not discriminating according to any socioeconomic status, etc. We strongly embrace that and believe in that. So having AI that's auditable, that allows you to ensure that you're creating an ethical offer, we believe is extremely important. And that feeds into transparency of knowing how things are working and how to explain what the outcomes are and how you're arriving at those outcomes. And finally, very importantly, we all know the privacy regulations and abiding by them is extremely important. And security is paramount because, as we've seen repeatedly, it can be catastrophic not to have secure solutions. So finally, we believe that this is the time for offer optimization. It is now. Every single thing I've spoken about is in production today at an airline around the world, driving value. So there's very little risk for airlines to embrace this new technology and to compete aggressively with other airlines, because we do believe that those who embrace this technology have a strategic advantage in the marketplace and will be more successful because of it. Thank you.